this is a mismatch in draft.
I thought they would take the easy road of just Gord and Kalea. Instead, they read past the pick. They know Guangzhou Gaming only have a utility jungle left in their arsenal, and they go for Lilia, someone that can stay in the mid lane, independent, bullying both, while the blue roams everywhere.
Mirko, this is the kind of draft that, in my eyes, creates despair. Like, the more you look at it, the more you fight against it, as the time goes on, it's like, wait, our chances of winning is going down and down and down. This is a draft that will make you feel very sad.
And now it's forced the Nolan pick out of Guangzhou Gaming. Nolan, notoriously horrible pick against a Ling, and especially a Brody that can kiss you.
Dairoth versus Esmeralda in the EXP lane. Flap and Modi. That Dairoth looking to cause havoc, but if it doesn't, well, they've got the Ling as well. 4 new heroes picked up to add to our unique hero total for this tournament already. Series 2 starting off with a bang. We'll see if it's China or if it's the Philippines who can take game 1.
Thank you so much. We head on in to the land of Dawn, and we're excited to see how this game is going to be played out, because for the first time in a long time, I have never been so confident in Falcons just cleaning up kills. They have so many ways to clean up fights, but it's all up to Haji and Kyle to make things happen.
And I, for one, am pretty sure that they can accomplish just that. Team Falcons and their mechanics, no doubt, they could carry that out, but Guangzhou Gaming, they forced out an early flicker from the hero you expected to be most aggressive in the early game.
And this is the scary thing about this game, right? Because you're looking at everybody, there is no particular winning matchup, right? Especially in those side lanes, unless they find a big mistake. So they do need the extra bit of support. Guangzhou, especially for Mei and Xing, all they gotta do is maintain control of mid, and it's gonna be super difficult for Ogwin and Haji to have that impact that we're looking for.
Yeah, at the very least, they're holding down Mei in mid, so he's not able to really get out of there as much and go into Kyle's jungle. But that's a lot of pressure already on their mid duo.
Beautiful stuff coming out from Guangzhou, right? That's already 2 big battle spells out super early on, and now they can start going for the invades. Look, Kyle is just taking so much damage from Mei.
Never mind. I just said Mei couldn't just really go straight into Kyle because of what Haji and Ogwin were doing, but with the amount of support that they've been providing one another, with this rotation you've seen firsthand from Guangzhou, things to be somewhat favoring their side.
Yep, even the battle spells is also telling us the exact same story. Falcons, they want this early game to be good for them. They want to speed things up right now. See, we're trying to bait something out as recall is very nearby, but I'm also curious, right? Because from Guangzhou's POV, I would have imagined that they would have gone for, like, maybe, I don't know, something a little tankier early on. Like, now they're stuck with this Nolan. They, too, have a certain degree of a timer.
Yeah, so maybe that's also why you see them really trying to pick up the pace and make sure that everything goes right in the early game for them, because they somewhat picked up a jungler that also has to keep up, but at least they're holding majority of the positioning here in the turtle so far. Flicker's already forced down! Ogwin actually falls to the hands of Guangzhou as first blood, and it seems to be going all the way over to Guangzhou. It's only Kyle left, and even Kyle doesn't make it out alive. What a start for Guangzhou here.
Zipper, we need a replay of that. That was a beautiful fight coming out from Guangzhou. Like, it is... Ogwin was already looking to actually put that final nail in the coffin, but keep your eyes here as Mei flickers out and baits the entire team into an unwinnable fight with Xing, making sure that Lantern Flare was up the entire way. With Turtle in the hands of Guangzhou Gaming, this is by far a really good start.
I wonder what information and preparation they've done, because again, Guangzhou, you know very little about this team. Even the heroes that they've used in their recent qualifiers don't tell you much about their playstyle. But what has changed? Why have they seemed to adapt so well to the current meta despite them picking or having these heroes which Falcons attempted to counter?
Well, I think, you know, it's a lot of research, and I definitely think, you know, the length of the MPL PH definitely played a part of that.
That's true.
Unintentionally, but here, when it comes down to the meta, that's what everybody's trying to figure out. What is not only the meta game for the game, but specifically for the tournament? We need to see that develop throughout. But with the lead that they have, 4-1, I'm expecting Guangzhou to play more reactively, right?
Yeah.
They want to make sure they punish the Falcons everywhere they go. They need a man-to-man defense and make sure that Haji doesn't scale too fast.
And honestly, that tournament meta, I feel, is something we won't really get to figure out until maybe day 3 or 4.
I mean, we can speculate.
Because day 1, first 2 matches in series have already shown us so much of the more unorthodox picks already.
Well, is it unorthodox or are they just ahead of the metagame? We won't know until day 2 or 3, but in the meantime, you can see both teams high contention for this mid lane. It's less about the side lanes. The side lanes are kind of independent until we can get the mid trio to move in their direction. Guangzhou going to take that first move as they send supports to the top side.
Yep, at least for Falcons and their sides, they're doing really okay. It's a Brody and a Dairoth, which you pretty much expect to win their lane. And so despite Falcons not really winning out massively in terms of their mid, they're not really in need of that much rotations, but that's the thing. Guangzhou might just really take advantage of this entire situation, but it's already Ogwen here up top, already trying to somewhat provide a bit of help. Does catch Sai, but it's gonna be Ogwen all alone this time. Now he's trapped against 3. Do they have enough damage? Do they have enough burst? That's a Crimson Beacon in and a stun. Guangzhou eventually take him out, and Super Marco looking like the next target torn about memory, but he doesn't find anyone, but he still survives. Just a bit, it's an outplay. 2 goal laners go down.
No way, no way. Oh, the auto attacks just weren't big enough. He didn't have the physical damage. It is unfortunately, a magic marksman dependent on skill cooldowns and abilities. That's gotta feel so bad. When you thought you were about to kill him, guess what? Quantum charge, walk away.
Okay, here goes the replay. So he was definitely left all alone there. I think he kind of survived it for a bit longer than we expected him to, but what a play. Even their coaching staff thought it was unbelievable. For the second time around, what? Super Marco not having a great time now.
Recall said, team, we're not going to let this happen again. Let me show you how it's done on a Nolan. But on the opposite end, we're not seeing Falcons waste too much time here. If you notice at the gold lead, despite it being 2 and 7, for some reason it's only 900. By this stage, you're expecting somewhat of a 1K, a 2K gold lead.
Oh, Black Shoes already forced out too. They get to find Haji and land another stun, forcing out the flicker. There goes Flap trying to defend, and they outplay Mei in mid. A small win for Falcons this time.
Really nice play coming in from Flap as well. Now you're seeing that the traditional lane roles, they're starting to get mixed up a lot, right? What is Dairoth doing up here to maybe try and help Ogwen and Super Marco? He reveals himself, but all of this is so that Kyle can scale up a little bit faster, taking the wave as well.
Yep, they're at the least maybe trying to slow down a bit and maybe go for the farm, because clearly Guangzhou Gaming have taken charge of the early game, and that's exactly according to plan so far. So maybe less of the direct one-on-one counters, and now we see more of the 5-on-5 rotations come into play. Recall though, very confident right now on this Nolan, forcing out the Black Shoes again.
Yeah, and honestly, there's no reason to actually contest for the turtle, because they know for a fact, hey, Nolan, his retribution is coming up, but without his ult, that's fine. That means he can't really get in and out as effectively. But when they're rushing it down, that's where it gets scary, and now they look for the opportunity.
That's a flicker from Ogwen. No Crimson Beacon left for XYang, but Recall! He wins out on the objective yet again. Falcons are now trying to go in. Kyle also using the Tempest of Blade. Super Marco joining in the fight, and they already have taken out 3 members of Guangzhou.
And that's a huge mistake coming out from GZG. Falcons take advantage of the fact that they were just too close together. 3 people got caught in the snare of the globules. The damage is good coming in from Recall. Ooh, Super Marco, is he gonna burn to death? Okay, he's fine, he's fine.
Yeah, that was close though. And at least Falcons get a bit more space, because it felt like earlier they had to work hard for this space, and they had to juggle between switching lanes here and there just so they could really find some more objectives across the map. But even despite losing that objective, and I believe that was the second turtle that Guangzhou have already secured, they've at least gotten a bit more map control.
And now the question is whether or not they've developed enough of a lead. And whatever they had before instantly dissipated in one singular fight. I love the fact that Haji is immediately going for that Wishing Lantern. It's perfect for getting rid of these annoying pokers like Mei, who wants to be in his face, or maybe even Modi, who again hasn't really been able to participate as much as we would like to see.
Yep, does run the Vengeance too, so we hopefully do get to see him later on in the team fights, because I feel like that will be a great help to Guangzhou Gaming in terms of actually getting the wins. But Flap, oh no, getting bursted down here by Recall!
Oh, nothing that Flap could do. He flickers a little too late, and honestly, I think a lot of his abilities got cancelled out once he got spun into multiple directions. That being said though, Guangzhou looking to try and take out at least one of these turrets, but they decide not to. They give up on it. They see Ogwen and they're like, not again, not again.
Nope. This is such a statement you're seeing from Guangzhou, especially recall 5-1-2 on the Nolan, when in fact it was a pick who was chosen last. You thought it was just some sort of pick that they were forced to pick up, but the Tempest of Blade just being forced out, and now Guangzhou just confidently standing in front of Team Falcons.
Yep, this is going to be a really awkward position for Falcons because, again, they were the ones who wanted to play for the earlier stages. Yep. Now they're highly dependent on Kyle to finish up a lot of these fights, or at the very least, Ogwen to try and create that space. Because so far, Super Marco, he's not getting as many auto attacks as he would like.
Yep, now they're forced to group up. It's always just Kyle away from the team, and that's the kind of play that they're maybe forced to do at this point. But now it's different. There's an objective that's coming up. So Team Falcons would have to be very, very careful about this. Flap cannot go down first, similar to what has been happening a couple times already in this game.
That's going to be the Malefic gun purchase here. Now Super Marco has the range to start hurting people from afar. The question is, are they going to be able to get into the pit? Because Guangzhou, they've got a really good control around it. Oh!
Gwen goes in, flickers in, but it gets bursted, and now the Salmon Force has a response to from Psy. They're just flushing Falcons out of this Lord Pit, and they're taking control! Black Shoes 2, forced out by Recall. Tempest of Blades, but can they get more? They find Mei, and that's going to be a 1-for-1.
Not too bad, but the fight's not over just yet. Guangzhou, understand that, hey, all right, we may have stuck a little too close together, but this time around they spread apart instantaneously as soon as they saw Ogwen walking up for a potential engagement. That being said, though, at least for GZG,
Ooh.
dear Lord, where did he go?
How did he know? That was okay. I think Falcons now are at a much clearer advantage.
Well, they may be at a much clearer advantage, but I don't see this being a free Lord just yet. Like, they're going to try for it, and I want to see what the response is going to be. Because for now, CY is in a pretty good position if he can get that Holy Crystal.
Okay, Falcons are starting this objective right now, but Ogwen has a good idea of where majority of them are. Modi jumping in, Kyle just securing it with the Retribution, and now Falcons want to go in for the fight. Sai already using the Salmon Force, but he gets bursted! It's a double kill for Kyle. He's been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, he tried a little too hard. Modi, unfortunately, making the mistake walking into the fight without the vengeance. And that stun from Super Marco is such an effective tool, if not at least the mini stuns from both Clap and Ogwen. At this stage, Falcons, based on the items that they have, can really start pressing the advantage when it comes down to structures.
Oh, fortunately, Haji got to quickly press that Black Shoes. Mei, though, looking in danger and will go down in the hands of Team Falcons, as Xying only had to Crimson Beacon out and the Lord is still up.
Yeah, they don't have an answer to Ogwen right now. Blue can kind of do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't get one shot, can ruin somebody's day.
Ooh.
Look at the damage! Recall getting blasted from halfway across the map.
And the Black Shoes are back for Haji, if in case Guangzhou actually forced that fight, but they're not really going to do so. They just focused on evening out majority of their resources across the board. That's going to be all outer turrets already taken down, and in the blink of an eye, you're already seeing a 5k gold lead in their hands.
Now, let's talk about how they're getting this, right? Before this, barely nothing. A lot of team fights, keeping it simple, kinda even. GZG, mega lead in terms of kill score, but doesn't have that 5k lead like Falcons have right now with a singular kill. And a lot of this is about time efficiency. With GZG's movements, they're sticking together. Notice, top quadrant, all 5 of them are there. Nobody's dealing with that bot wave. And that's why Falcons' overall macro is more efficient gold-wise in comparison to GZG.
Yep, that's why even if you thought things were kind of slowing down, that was just Falcons playing their game. And now it's going to be Modi bursted by Flap. Now that you see them grouped up, this is exactly how they want to utilize this lineup.
Yeah, and it's great because, again, the one combination people don't think about is the shred specifically from Flap. If Flap and Marco work together, no matter how tanky you are, they're going to cut your armor in half, if not more, now that he has the Malefic gun.
Okay, Conceal. Could there be another flicker play? And there you go, Mei! Barely surviving this. Winter Crown already forced out, and the flicker too, but they just want that base turret. Guangzhou are not gonna force the chase.
No, they can't. They can't afford to. Unfortunately for Guangzhou Gaming, until Sai is, I want to say not just the Holy Crystal at this point, because Ogwin is too big of a problem. I'm trying to figure out how can they bait Ogwin out, or at the very least burst them down, both of which not very good ideas considering the priority list.
Because at this point, the only heroes from Guangzhou who maybe can go for some backline plays are just really Recall and Modi, or unless Xing just really wants to go full commit and Crimson Beacon in and they just all jump on Super Marco, but will that be worth it? Because at this point, again, the shred you mentioned, the armor just going down as soon as you approach these heroes who could deal massive damage and penetration, and not to mention an objective too coming up just in a bit.
Yeah, this is particularly tough. I will admit that at least for Guangzhou Gaming, they made sure that Haji slowed down, but now we're already in the later stages of this game. Slowing Haji down is not possible. He hurts.
Yep. And look at just how well they're guarding majority of the map right now, but Guangzhou are still pushing forward. Recall, though, is about to show himself up top, and that might be enough room for Falcons to be a bit more aggressive with bursting down this objective.
Oh, it looks like they're trying to sell this fight.
Oh, Ogwin and Flap trying to zone out the members as Falcons just secure this objective, but Ogwin still finds one. Do they want to push through with this fight, though? Haji providing the damage, and it's going to be enough. Super Marco's already called a killing spree, and Kyle on the back lines, finding Xing as they take out three. It's just Modi and Recall. There goes the fracture, but it's gonna be okay.
They've been dancing around and they know they've got an endgame angle. Unfortunately for GZG, the biggest problem with their composition is they don't have the best wave clear. They have to commit a lot of bombs to make it happen.
And now they surprise with yet another flicker, and Modi could not tank the damage anymore. It's gonna be a near wipeout for Guangzhou Gaming as Recall's the only one left. He's trying to defend, but he can't. And Team Falcons with a 10K gold lead, close out game number 1.
That was clean. I gotta admit, there were moments there in the early stages that I was worried for Team Falcons, but they show their experience every single time.
Into your hands, you would go for the Phobias, but instead, they go for the Sora.
I gotta say, Falcons PH.
Just for dive?
Falcons PH, at least for this matchup, looks like just more damage, right? A good offense is a good defense. So a lot of firepower coming in from Falcons for the first match in game number 1 and game number 2.
Because it seems like with the Sora pick here, it's more of like, all right, we don't care about the lane anymore. We're just going to go for the team fight because the Paquito is usually an answer to the Sora in lane.
And at this point, why would they? Whatever works last game could work again. Confidence for Team Falcons PH trying to close it out over GZG. Let's send it over to our casters, see what they think as Gideon and Brigitte join us for game 2.
Thanks so much, Rain Day. Let's jump right into this. We are ready for battle, of course, but right now, it's about trying to figure out how to get underneath the skin of each of our competitors here. And so far, currently at match point, it's Team Falcons who are leading that charge. We want to see how GZG is going to try and turn this around.
And I agree. I would want to see more from Team Falcons as well. It was already brought up by our panelists. Initially, I think heading into this tournament, you were really expecting them to be one of the cleanest, but game 1, GZG pushed them to the limits by just a little bit. So this time around, though, things seem to be pretty different, draft-wise especially.
Oh, what a sneaky little invade here by Kyle. Able to take a camp out. He figured out the starting path and was able to take at least one of these camps. This does mean that it's going to be a bit of a delay. However, we're going to see Recall here going to try and contest this. It's dangerous stuff, and admittedly, they played it well. Even Haji getting into the right position to see it happen.
Yeah, somehow equalizing the advantage in the early game, given that Kyle did take away one green cap. But a quick look onto the emblems as well. There seems to be the mid duo taking that PYT.
Interesting stuff, but at the same time, I'm liking the way that Falcons are actually playing this right now. Flap gonna take a bit of damage here. What's that? I felt like that was a kill angle.
Yeah, if it weren't for Ogwin.
Yeah, but even then, I think that should have been a solo kill, right? Empower jab into auto attack would have been like more than enough to take him out here, but now.
Oh, this is something unexpected. Xing did not expect that, but it was still Guangzhou who actually picked up first blood. They find Haji in exchange of Xing, but it's a double kill now for Kyle, and it seems like they got the better trade.
A much better trade, in a matter of fact. And May understood. Again, this Grok can be a game changer. The problem is that it's very timing based, right? You have to maintain control over tempo. It's not a fight on a dime type hero. You really have to kind of set the plays and really find the right angles. At the same time, with tempo... Oh,
Ooh.
whoa, all right. So we know that Kyle's on top side.
Okay, and now you know, the Modi's just holding this bush. We're seeing dangerous grass in a while, and now it's Falcons starting it up. But Recall and the rest of the members are gonna be here too. Flap trying to look for an angle. It's not gonna go for the setup just yet, and there you go. But it's still Recall actually winning out on the Rectory battle. Blazing to it, already committed here by side. SOD will not connect, but Ogwen still goes in for the knockups, and the flicker from Flap! They still actually find X-King, but they might just get traded out. Unfortunately, the heavy spin will keep them safe. The knockups, however, close call for Ogwen right there.
What a timing by both of these supports. They both knew we're about to hit level 4. Just give me the right timing. I just need to reveal one extra person. The tech charge alongside with a heavy spin. Life-changing spells. And now you get to see how these compositions actually want to play the game now, right? Falcons, understandably, hey, even though it's a skirmish, we can't risk losing these big spells before the most important fight. But look at Kyle, repathing down towards the purple side, knowing that Hirara is on the orange buff side.
Yep, I think the only small win really that we could really consider from that was the fact that Recall still got the objective. Other than that, the team fight, the post-turtle takes seem to have really favored Falcons, especially as Recall has lost on so much resources at this point already. Fortunately though, he's not really as behind, but you could see that Kyle is really having such a good start.
Wait, keep your eyes out here. Flap might find an angle. If he gets on top of Xing, it might just be over. It doesn't reveal him, but he's gonna walk through. Good check. Good game sense.
Yep, they could not afford to lose out on any more. At least Modi, I think, would be communicating every single time he feels that Flap isn't within the area. Another gold grab. I think that's the second time Super Marco stole it away from Guangzhou.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Committing it all just for these small advantages. That's what separates the boys from the men. Oh, CY's in so much trouble.
Okay, there's a Purify still, but he still gets caught in the heavy spin nonetheless. The damage from Hachi is going to be enough. The question is, does Ogwen get out of this? He might just, but not with the real world manipulation being laid down.
Okay, that's actually incredible. That's actually incredible for Falcons. No RWM. They get to technically contest this for free, but can they do it right now? Flap misses everything.
Yep, he doesn't get to find a setup, and still Guangzhou will be the one securing this objective. Kyle will not make it as he just focuses on this green camp, but that's knowing that they didn't have the real world, and now Guangzhou might get more. They might just find Kyle. Fortunately, is still alive though, but Xing picks up the kill. Now they're gonna go for the chase. It's Mei and Xing trying to get back under their turrets. Another barrier laid down, and the flicker to get out.
Oh, this is ridiculous. That fork lightning. Ogwen. Oh no, wait. Does he have? Okay, he does have body slam, but CY chasing this really isn't gonna get much until he gets that Trinity build. But my goodness, getting to see the fork lightning being spammed like what, 3 times? I know that they changed the cooldowns to it so that you can like chain it together much easier than last time where you needed to be like level 11, level 10 around there to get it consistently. But now here at level 7, I mean, Hachi is doing it consistently too.
Yeah, and at least for Falcons, despite what happened earlier on, they didn't really lose the advantage. Like, they still have the advantage in their hands nonetheless, despite Flap slipping up on that setup and them actually not being able to contest for the objective. And maybe that's one thing Guangzhou can just really try to capitalize on. The fact that even if the Akai is on the other side, the way that they just get in and out of these fights and still have these utilities to really rely on, such as the tech charge and real-world manipulation, might just give them the upper hand.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I think GCG, they got the mechanics, and I think they also have great communication with each of their members, but I think Falcons is much better at just playing patient, and honestly, super tactical. Oh,
Flap is gonna be here. Haji flickers out, but they find themselves under the real-world manipulation, but they're not gonna fight under that anymore. So that's just resources burned again from the side of Guangzhou pre-turtle.
And here I was complimenting GCG about, great communication, and yet, they could have, I don't know, used their ults at the same time, or find the engagement a little bit sooner, but that's fine. It happens, especially in high-stakes games, and especially when you're playing against a team like Falcon. You know they've got plenty of history.
Yeah, Kyle shows up here in mid, and Ogwen will be at least positioning here in the turtle. But Guangzhou have a lot of information. They know what to expect and where they could potentially come from. But does Flap start things off again?
I think it's about the big question. Oh,
Oh, it's gonna be Mei instead who gets caught now. Tech Charge does land, but does he go down in the Deadly Magic? It's not gonna be the case. Guangzhou once again take the objective for themselves, and it's Flap just trying to run for his life, but X Team does not allow him to get away. And this seems like a repeat of game number 1 where it's not Kyle going to the other side of the map, but instead it's just Super Marco at this point.
Only naturally, right? Because when you have the access to the SOD, being able to close that distance with the rest of your team on mutual objectives is sort of the point. But I think at this stage, Super Marco, he's probably going to start rotating after clearing this bot side, rotate over to mid, and then immediately, oh wait, actually, does he need to? Nah, he doesn't need to. The Lord is going to spawn on that top side. He's staying down bot.
Oh, but half HP. Guangzhou Gaming have been really good in terms of these pokes and back and forths as well. Not really granting the massive advantage to Falcons despite the slight sloppiness, I'd say, especially pre-objectives. But at least they're somehow grouping together and making sure that they somehow, at least, the next team fight we see, get to communicate and layer their skills better.
Yeah, I'm noticing that GCG, like the gold lead isn't too far away from the Falcons, right? You can play a little disrespectful, but I've noticed that they don't really invade, do they? They just sit around the river a lot of the time. Thanks for bringing up the items, because I am curious to see how far along the track they are. Chastised Pauldron already purchased by Mei, and now that the rest of the Falcons are looking to get this tier 2 side, we're just a little bit of gold off before Super Marco is actually able to complete the Trinity. DHS and he's done.
Yeah, I think the only time we really got to see them invade was when Mei was on the Hilda, and it was just Mei as the Hilda. Like, there wasn't really help that came from the other members as much, and that's naturally what you expect. But this time, on the Grok and Eve, it seems to be a bit different in terms of their gameplay, or maybe Falcons too are just overwhelmingly good in controlling the map.
Maybe, but I think the Falcons need to recognize that, hey, GZG are really good at chasing you down, so they cannot take that initial impact. If it's too much damage and they back away, it's just as good as a wipeout. So I think that Falcons are being extra precautious on the way that they need to maneuver around these fights, knowing that the tech charge is probably their best form of counter-engage, and the real-world manipulation, it's a box, so you got to start thinking about angles.
GZZ are just blocking off the entries for Ogun at this point, forcing the recall for Super Marco just to get here, but now Modi all alone. How did it end up like this? There were just 3 members surrounding him at that point, and he was all alone. Now GZG are down 1. Recall shows up. Flap trying to keep him in check. Mei still has the ultimate, but Ogun uses his first. And now Falcons are just going to go for Hero. Super Marco's here to help. Sai using the Blazing Duet to get away, but the SOD is going to land. Super Marco goes in. Flap 2 helping him make or get some kills. But that's just them pushing GZG out as they focus on the objective.
That has to be one of the biggest whiffs of all time. Zipper, don't put up the replay on that one. I swear to God. Recall dying there? Like, why would you use your iframes to try and bail? Like, you can't stop the spin. That's the problem with a heavy spin. You can't stop it. Oh! Doesn't have enough damage.
Yeah.
But sure, boy, was that flashy. That looked cool.
It was cool. And they got Tier 2 turrets out of that too. Unfortunately, you have to take a look at the replay.
God damn it, Zipper! I mean, just look at Recall, right? There's no reason for him to actually dash into this to get the extra little bit of damage. If they wanted to do something earlier, it's got to be the RWM. The order was wrong, and unfortunately for Recall, he should have known. Don't go into the heavy spin. You can't cancel it out as easy as you think it can.
Yep. And now they have to deal with the Lord, who is still up, by the way, marching down bot as Falcons will just try to focus out on the other remaining outer turrets. And Recall shows up yet again in this spot. Fortunately has the iframes, but now it's Falcons winning out big. It's a 5k gold lead all over again. At least they have Holy Shields, because earlier when they had this Lord, their Holy Shields were already down.
But still, it's pretty good. GCG, if they can just clear out these... Oh, the conceal.
Oh, Flap's gonna go in, does find one. Real world manipulation used as a response, though. Kyle's just gonna focus on X-King! Deadly Magic definitely gonna take him downside. Doesn't have enough damage with the Blazing Duet just yet, but Recall will finish the job. They find one in exchange of 2. Kyle being chased by Modi, but this is not enough. Super Marco goes in! SOD threatens them, and they cannot chase after Kyle anymore. Modi, though! Can they actually do this?
Almost. Oh, he outplays it! He gets the empower, but still dies in the end. The KDA machine says no!
Wow, Ogun picked up an immortality too. Were they expecting the team fight to last a bit longer than it should have? Another deadly magic onto May. But this is going to be a croc, so they're not going to take him down.
Yeah, typical Paquito things, am I right? You know, it's just like Suyo when you're just about you get that first kill and then you purchase the Sky Piercer. Same goes for the immos, right? It happens at times. But for the time being, we can see that like they've got good damage here. I am curious to see what they have. Thank you for the item, Zipper. 3 already done. Malefic Gun on the way through. Winds of Nature, good purchase here for Super Marco. They understand that it's going to be up to the Blazing Duet to kind of make up for the lack of damage.
Yeah, so we see that how surprisingly Modi lasted a bit longer than we thought, apart from the fact that, yeah, Haji's skills were mostly on cooldown, I'd say, but this is looking really devastating. The damage that you can expect from Kyle is really massive, and now Exian gets caught by Flap once again. It's just Flap doing all of this pressure onto the back lines, and he surprisingly nearly took him down. May will be the exchange for this, but Kyle trying to go for the chase in the back lines too. GZG now have left Recall all alone against 5 of Team Falcons.
Literally 1 HP, and the crowd's going wild for this one. Wasn't expecting them to survive, expecting at least a 2 for 1 trade, and then you get denied even that. An 8K gold lead as Falcons have taken this mid game all the way to the late and are looking to punch a hole straight through GZG.
Yep, it's just Kyle on the Lord. No threat whatsoever from the side of GZG. At least Sai can still hold on to this Purify later on for this upcoming siege, but it's looking scary. The way or the ways that Falcons can just attempt to go in for a dive.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Modi though. Although the build is a little more defensive, not looking to take full advantage of the kit in multiple different ways, I think getting a War Axe might actually be profitable for him. He's been playing a really good peel. Yeah. He saved the life of Seeing, and I think they got it. Oh!
You just mentioned him. You just mentioned his name, and
good
he
block.
nearly went down.
Don't worry. If it's not for Modi, it's May who's going to block the damage. They are working in tandem with each other.
They have to at this point because they're the only ones that GZG could really rely on when it comes to the all-out team fights. Kyle is going to hold this bush. Recall has no idea, and the Lord is going to march down here as well. They get this turret for free, and now Oakland goes in. Already down half HP though, so you got to respect the damage coming from GZG.
They're dancing around this and they understand, man, the waves are not exactly in the best position, and unfortunately, in comparison to Guangzhou's Gaming's lineup, it's a lot harder to get the siege down.
Oh, Recall goes in. Oakland already very low.
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't know.
Gonna back away from this.
Yeah, because the Purify was still up too, even if he went for the tech charge there.
I'm realizing, I thought they got rid of the eye. Or maybe this is like a spectator thing.
Oh, yeah.
That we get to see the eye, but they don't.
Yeah.
This is nice. This is a little quality of life change that we've been asking for that now being implemented onto our, at least for our observers.
Did they take out the eye, or just the delay when you see?
It is the delay on the eye as well, but even so, let's see where this is going to lead to, because right now Falcons have been bouncing back and forth between top side and bottom side just to get every buff underneath the sun.
Okay, the threat of the tech charge is there, but the damage from Sai too, shredding down over to bases. Immortality already popped. The setup from Flap, catching two with the follow-up damage coming in from Kyle. They're definitely gonna take out more. Modi falls first. The iframes are not gonna keep Recall safe as Super Marco ends it from the sides, finds a double, and just waits for the waves to come crashing in the base.
A chop to the neck. Trying to break the neck now, trying to go for the throat. Seeing, what can he do? What do they have access to? They could try, no, not even the RWM is accessible, and Falcons will close this game out with a clean 2-0 against Guangzhou Gaming.
With the wipeout at that to end game number 2.